to have you all here. This session is about building the complete footballer. We're going to tackle it from coaching aspect, academics, sports science, sports psychology, as well as how to bring this all data within an integrated tool and a data tool that could help us take decisions. So basically, the idea here is that we're exploring an idea that is simple when we describe it, but it's actually complex when you implement it. So having this all integrated into one model, if you will, is very complex to achieve, but the effect or the impact is going to be tremendous on the player and the individual. So allow me here to welcome with me leaders from each of those aspects that I just explained. I have here Marco from IterPro. Marco is the CEO and founder of IterPro, a tool that provides data analytics to allow for meaningful decision for decision makers within an academies, clubs. Then we have Mia. Mia is currently the technical director of Riyadh School Football Academy, an elite academy that focuses on developing footballers off and off the pitch through an integrated curriculum, academic curriculum, as well as football development curriculum. Mia also brings a lengthy above 10 years of experience developing individual talents and the methodology within European League. Then we have Abdulaziz Alenzi. He joined us from Move Comprehensive Center, Sport Comprehensive Center. He will tackle, and he has experience of more than 10 years within helping clubs like Al Hilal and others, providing the rehabilitation programs and protocols. And then Dr. Alhassan Abdulshakur. He's the founder of Sport Psychology Academy, an academy that is based here in Saudi that help clubs, federations to ensure that their athletes are equipped with the right mindset, are equipped with the right character in order to succeed, not only in the field but also off the field as well. So welcome everyone, and thank you. If we started with Mia, if you allow me, Marco. So we're talking about developing complete footballers. From your own perspective, what does this really mean when you talk about your day-to-day job as a technical director, as someone who's designing methodologies for kids? How can you bring this completeness into picture and into your day-to-day life?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. Regarding your question, yeah, it's true that we are aiming to develop complete footballers, but we need to be conscious that what we have at the moment is just kids. So all we aim is just a project. To me, a complete footballer would mean those players that is able to solve as many situations as possible during the game. And for that, we need to follow a specific methodology that involves many things, no? Because at the end, if we understand the player as an holistic person, we should focus not only in what happened on the game, but also how the player is feeling, how is his environment at home, in the school, how is he growing as a person, how is his cognitive capacity. So we are in charge of control all these items in order to allow this player of the future to be well prepared if he at the end become a football player. The math says that most of the players, they are not going to become a football player. That's why we integrate the academical part. That for us is very important in order to at least prepare persons for the future. No? Of course, in our academy we have, well, the kids, they are lucky because they can grow and learn through a football perspective, which is great. But it's true that we need to be conscious that the day-to-day, the regular day, must be, of course, merged with the academical part, but a normal regular day with a top curriculum from the academic standards and a top curriculum from the sport standard.
If I want to build on that, just if you can in 20 seconds explain what could be the biggest mistakes that currently academies or clubs do when they're developing their players. So the one big mistake that you think this is common among clubs, either nationally or internationally, that we should avoid developing this complete players.
Well, from my point of view, there are two big mistakes that many academies they they used to do. The first one is related to the self-concept of the player. I think that is something very important to work on the self-concept and how this feedback is reaching the player from the coaches, from the teachers, from the parents, of course. So we cannot remove the parents from the equation. We need to educate the parents as well in order to help the players to grow, because at the end, the parents are always role models. So one of our main goals here is to align all the pieces and all the pillars of the project in order that the self-concept of the player that he has from himself is correct. In many clubs it happens, for example, that the good player is always having the same type of feedback, like you are very good, you're going to play the whole game, you are very good, you are doing this good. So I don't think this is really helping the player. From our perspective, we need to be fair and honest with this player and track this individualization with honesty. No? Or this, it happened the same in the opposite side. No? Sometimes the bad player is not having minutes, is getting all the time like punished by the coach. You need to improve this, you need to improve that. So at the end, we need to work on the player. And what we are doing in our project is just focus on the player, not on the team. And this is pushing a lot the player. And the other thing, just quick, is about the data. No? We are working with Huddle, we are working with our friends from IterPro. So we are tracking the development somehow. Yeah? We have our own key performance indicator. So we are ensuring that all this data and all these day-to-day actions that we are taking are tracked somehow. And we can take actions regarding how is each player going up or down.
I think Mia's response highlight how complex this is. I explained it in 20 seconds and he spent 2 minutes. But this shows.
I forgot about that.
No, but this actually shows how complex this delivering a complete football. It's not an easy job. Thank you very much, Mia, for your insights. But now we've looked at from the intelligence point of view. We look at it from character a bit, developing kids on the field. But these kids or this intelligence is really within a body. That body that need to be taken care of adequately. So, Abdulaziz, this is to you now.
Yes.
If you're working with realities, you're working with coaches, you're working with clubs that always face this. So from your own perspective, and especially at this growth stage kids, what are some ways that science-supported ways that we could ensure that we implement protocols that to ensure that this player is not having the risks of fatigue or of injury that would jeopardize his career as they're still very young, so they're still 10 or probably more just to reach the professional level?
What a great question. Thank you, first of all, and I'm really so happy to be with this amazing team. In fact, we know there are category depending on the age of the players in the academies, in the schools, in the teams. They divide it into like below 10, between 10 to 13, 13 to 15, and so on. So what I can comment on that each group of age has specific things from medical point of view that we need to focus on. So basically, in the earliest stage, we need to focus on the tactical, then to the technical to understand the foundation. On the parallel side, so we need to focus from medical point of view about each stage, because we know that these kids in the growing stage, to prevent the injuries, like stresses injury that might occur in this stage. One of the most common injury that Osgood-Schlatter, we can see it between 12 to 14 years old. So what I can say that not one size fits all. So we need to categorize each training according to the age. Basically, if we want to take a macro cycle overview about each player through the year, so we must do something called pre-competition medical assessment or a medical evaluation in the beginning of each year or in the beginning of each season. At this evaluation, we need to assure that this player or athletes or kids is medically free from his heart, cardiac examination. We must do echo ECG, and we should go through a specific physical examination according to the sport, that we need to see the muscle flexibility, the muscle or the flexibility of the muscle and joints, and to know the barriers that each player has or each kids has, and we need to focus on. So what I don't like to see is doing the same exercises, the same training level, the same amplitude for the whole group, which we can see the injuries happen at this scope. So categorizing the athletes, giving them the exact treatment plan in the beginning of the year, and we can follow up with this on a quarter base or on a mid-season phase.
Thank you, Abdulaziz. This is really insightful. Thank you, Abdulaziz. Now, if you think about it now, it seems that development is very sensitive, as me explained and as Adi explained. But then how do we make the right decision for these actions to be at least captured somewhere, so we ensure that we don't fall short again while we're developing this player? So Marco, off to you now. If this is, or if we think about IterPro as a center of that, you bring together coaching data, medical assessment, cognitive assessment, all of the training loads that Abdulaziz just touched upon. Can you walk us through what does really that mean in a day of a life of using IterPro in an academy or in a club? How do you think this would help everyone, decision makers, through using data to make the right decision that would let us avoid making the mistakes, ensuring that we develop the complete player as me explained?
Thanks for the question. So I believe that we need to start from the definition of an intelligent system, because what we are trying to do is something like raising the bar compared to an athlete management system which focuses just on individual players. So I would say that, as you say, like we bring together and we centralize data from every department, whether it's technical, medical, physical, or even the talent development side, and potentially even player profiling and scouting, of course. But all of these coming together is not just about the data. It's about the collaboration between people working in a team. So instead of just looking at the profile of the player or just the data of the player, we also look at the operation. So bringing in all the scheduling, bringing in all the messaging, and this, I believe, is the real value, because like everyone can develop his own dashboard and his own KPI, and this is not up to me, up to the technology. We just need to make sure that as a tool, you can smooth your process and your workflow between all the members of the staff. Because what you can do, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, you have to meet, all the people and spending long hours, in a meeting to discussing a certain situation with the player. Maybe it's still required in a certain way. But where you can access the data with the right timing, at the right place, that is priceless. Because it means that you can take much faster decision, much better decision, based on objective data. And again, there is no universal KPI. Every single organization is going to build its own infrastructure, its own ecosystem. This is not one fit for all. Everyone is building his own methodology, has to bring something that makes sense and fit that specific organization. But something important I want to say, and I believe this is very important, because as a technology provider, and this is a little bit counterintuitive from the audience that is listening to me, but I believe that we come in a pyramid of 3 steps. The 3 steps is made by people first. So if you have an organization with people with the right mindset, the right culture, because this is not just a tool, it's a cultural, it's embracing a culture, digital transformation. But on top of the people, you have to put a process. So the process has to be in a way that is smooth in the collaboration between the people. And the technology comes last, and is a way really to make everything more fluid, and so you can really get the right data at the right time and of course, at the right moment. So I believe that this is the real value that is bringing to a club. Then, of course, we can take thousands of examples. I usually define this in micro value, which is day-to-day operations, so like scheduling, messaging, getting a player profile in a very short time. And then there is the strategic value. how I want to develop this player, how I want to develop this team, how I want to develop this organization on multiple years. Where I am now, where I will be later next year. And one sentence that I always take with me is like, if you don't measure something, you never know what you improved. So that's why it's important to track everything we do in order to understand also like which direction we are taking. So just to close this question, with a very meaningful sentence, and this is from Seneca, he's a Greek philosopher, that's from my study in the past, but there is no wind favorable for a sailor that doesn't know where to go. And that's where this technology comes in, because if you're able to track the right pathway, you can leverage the technology to see if you're going the right direction as a compass.
Thank you very much, Marco. If I want to just ask you or tap into what could be some of the wrong or misuse of technology within a club or an academy? How can you, so you explained all the benefits of a club, but how can a club misuse or probably have a wrong case of usage for a technology tool?
Yeah, this is actually one of the biggest challenges. Every time we implement the softwares in some professional club or an academy or federation or league, because the biggest mistake is that at the beginning everyone gets overexcited and wants to do everything. That's the biggest challenge and the biggest threat for an organization, because it can burn the project. Instead, I believe that the best way is to create a progression and being in the comfort zone, then slowly raising the bar and taking next step and adding stuff. Because otherwise it feels like sometimes people get overwhelmed with a lot of data, and the risk is that data becomes noise, it doesn't become a solution.
Thank you very much, very insightful, Marco.
Thank you.
Now we've spoke about structure, we spoke about development, but we know players at this age especially, they don't progress at a linear line. They have emotions, they have feelings. So that takes us to Dr. Alhassan. Now, when you look at players nowadays, they don't fail. A lot of players, I would say, they don't fail because of talent. They actually fail because of stuff that has to do with character, resilience, perseverance, decision making. So, what are the character traits, if you will, that truly predict whether a young player will have the right pathway to develop or not since a very young age? So what are the indicators, if you will, that we could spot within that young player to see whether or that they would have it? And to that question, so that we only have 5 minutes, so it's going to be a long answer from your side. How can we really develop the character? If these are the traits, how can we develop it in a context of an academy or in a context of age group of 7 to, let's say, 12 years old?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, and I'm so happy that we bring sports psychology on the table. It's the missing piece, as I usually mention that. And regarding your question, I usually refer to sports psychology research to better provide evidence-based interventions. So there are some psychological characteristics such as discipline, confidence, resilience that help the players in this kind of transition phase. But the question is how we develop these psychological characteristics considering the individual differences, because each player has different psychological experience. So that's why we need to explore these individually, these kind of psychological experience to better develop these psychological characteristics for the young players. We have a scientific curriculum in sports psychology that teaches the young players, to learn about developing these skills on the pitch and also off the pitch.
Thank you, Dr. Hassan. In one word, if you could say, what is the daily habit a kid, let's say 11, 12 years old, should have and should be reinforced through the academy through an academic program or the sporting program, what would be that habit to develop that character?
Well, there is a lot, and as I said, it depends on the personality. It depends on, you know, as I said, the psychological experience, the factors around that player that help.
At least one habit, sorry to cut you off, but at least one habit that you think if we emphasize on more, it would at least touch upon multiple angles of what you just mentioned.
So based on my experience working with football players, especially in this age, I could say self-reflection. Like, for example, in the curriculum, like, you know, at the end of the day, basically the player sit down, reflect on all the activities that have been done in that day, and then he engages with that kind of activities to reflect more, to learn about himself, about his experience, to then document all these, you know, activities and experiences for his psychological development in the future.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all. I just want to end with a few words. So as you see here, it's really it's not that there is one methodology that Mia spoke about or one way of developing or rehabilitating the talents or one way to use data. It's really how can they work in alignment. When we stop coaching academics, data, we will stop working in silos and more into a reinforced integrated matter. We will have a mean to develop that footballer player. And I think as Saudi prepares and moving forward toward 2034, the question is no longer about do we have the right talent. I think Saudi is well equipped with a lot of talent. The question is, can we produce a complete talent, player who can handle the physical, the emotional, the cognitive, the tactical demand that would be required, because 10 years from now, I think the landscape would be different. It will be very competitive to compete against 48 nations. So hopefully through such example and such model, many of that in Saudi, we could create the multiplier effect of a complete football player. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your attendance.